In a world where magic and mystery intertwine, one young man is about to embark on a journey like no other. Meet Subaru Natsuki, an ordinary high school student who finds himself inexplicably transported to a fantastical realm known as Lugunica. Lost and confused, Subaru's life takes an unexpected turn when he discovers an extraordinary ability, the power to rewind time whenever he dies. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Subaru, a young man from another world, finds himself transported to a marketplace in a mysterious realm. After a friendly chat with a fruit vendor, he becomes the target of 3 hoodlums in a dark alley. Thankfully, a half-elf girl named Satella, accompanied by her companion Puck, comes to his rescue. Grateful for the help, Subaru offers to retrieve Satella's stolen insignia, which was taken by a thief named Felt. They head to the loot house where Felt was going to sell the insignia, but they are shocked to discover her dead. Tragically, Subaru and Satella are also brutally killed upon entering. However, Subaru experiences something extraordinary. His ability called Return by Death activates, resetting him to the moment he first arrived in the marketplace. Oblivious to his newfound power, Subaru decides to try again. In his second attempt, Subaru meets Felt and Rom, successfully negotiating for the insignia. But their moment of relief is shattered when Elsa, the person responsible for Subaru's previous demise, arrives. Subaru cleverly offers his cell phone with its advanced camera as a trade, and Felt and Rom agree. Yet, tragedy strikes once more when Elsa kills them all after Subaru reveals his intention to return the insignia. Undeterred, Subaru respawns again, this time meeting Satella on the street. However, he unknowingly offends her by using the name Satella, which is associated with the jealous witch, a taboo in this realm. Subaru, still grappling with his Return by Death ability, seeks to prevent the theft of Satella's insignia. Determined to change his fate, Subaru refrains from meeting Satella and instead tries to buy the insignia from Felt before Elsa can intervene. In the alley, the hoodlums attack Subaru again, but this time he is saved by a mysterious figure named Reinhardt. Subaru pleads with Reinhardt to pass on a message to Satella, urging her not to come to the loot house. Heading towards the loot house, Subaru unexpectedly encounters Elsa, who notices his strange behavior. Fearful of Elsa's interference, Subaru finally reaches Felt. He shares Rom's assessment of the phone's worth from the previous timeline, hoping to convince Felt to sell him the insignia without involving Elsa. However, Felt remains suspicious due to Subaru's actions and refuses to make a deal without hearing Elsa's offer. As tension builds, a knock at the door startles Subaru, fearing Elsa's arrival. To his surprise, it's Satella herself, despite his message to stay away. The tense encounter between Satella, now revealed as Amelia, and Elsa escalates. With Puck's assistance, they gain an advantage using their formidable ice magic teamwork. However, Puck's powers dwindle as night falls, and he retreats to his mana crystal vessel. Elsa's onslaught continues, forcing Felt to flee while Rom suffers severe injuries. Amelia valiantly battles Elsa, but starts to tire. Just in the nick of time, Reinhardt arrives on the scene to aid Amelia. Elsa discloses herself as a dangerous bowel hunter. Amelia heals Rom's wounds, and Reinhardt engages Elsa in a fierce duel. Employing a Van Astria sword technique, Reinhardt seemingly defeats Elsa. However, Elsa survives and targets Amelia once more. In a selfless act, Subaru intervenes, taking the hit intended for Amelia. Amelia, touched by Subaru's bravery, reveals her true name and identity. Overwhelmed by his injuries, Subaru collapses, realizing he was struck by Elsa's attack. Elsa manages to escape, leaving uncertainty in her wake. Felt returns the insignia to Amelia as a gesture of gratitude. However, Reinhardt decides to take Felt into custody upon discovering the stolen insignia, despite being off-duty. He warns Amelia that her peaceful life may soon be disrupted, possibly due to summoning. Subaru awakens at Roswell's mansion, saved by Amelia. He encounters the enigmatic Beatrice in the library, but falls unconscious when she drains his mana. Upon waking up in his room, he meets the maid twins, Rom and Rem. Reuniting with Amelia and Puck, Subaru learns about the significance of the insignia needed for Emilia to qualify as a candidate for the upcoming royal election. To show his gratitude, Subaru requests to work as a butler at the mansion. Struggling with his new responsibilities, Subaru accompanies Ram and Rem to the village to buy supplies. There, he enjoys playful moments with children and a puppy, leaving a lasting memory. Subaru asks Emilia on a date to revisit the village the next day, and she agrees. However, the next morning, Subaru finds himself back in his room with Ram and Rem, and his hand is healed. Realizing that he experienced a tragic fate during the night, Subaru becomes aware of a mysterious time loop where death seems inevitable. Despite Subaru's efforts, some events differ from his previous experience, complicating his task. Ram's teachings in reading and writing become a crucial deviation from the past timeline. As Subaru and Ram grow closer during their chores, Rem's concern becomes evident. During a shopping trip, Rem hints at her unwavering dedication to Ram, likening it to a fanatical demon. She subtly inquires about Subaru's perspective on demons, leaving him puzzled. Taking a break from their duties, Emilia teaches Subaru to read and write. His connection with Emilia deepens, and he successfully invites her on a date to the village, seeking solace in the memories of playful moments with the children, puppy, and flower fields. However, the night brings terror as Subaru struggles to stay awake, haunted by the knowledge that certain events remained unresolved. Suddenly, he is overwhelmed by sickness and attacked by an unseen assailant, meeting a violent end. Subaru awakens once more in his room, aware of the impending danger that lies ahead. Determined to uncover the truth, he assumes the role of a guest in Roswall's mansion. Seeking answers, Subaru approaches Beatrice, inquiring about the magic that can weaken and kill. Beatrice suggests two potential causes: a curse, which she dismisses as unlikely, or mana draining, a skill possessed by only her and Puck within the mansion. Additionally, she reveals she had healed Subaru when he first arrived. In a conversation with Ram, Subaru shares a folktale of two demons, prompting a difference in interpretation. Subaru reveals he learned about legends of the dragon and kingdom, as well as the story of the jealous witch, which Ram avoids discussing. She warns him not to share his demon story with Rem. As the fourth day arrives, Subaru decides to observe the mansion from a nearby cliff. At sunset, a sudden and violent attack ensues with a heavy spiked ball and chain. Subaru skillfully evades the strikes, only to discover that the assailant is none other than Rem herself, leaving him in shock. Subaru's torment deepens as he faces suspicion and tragedy. Rem subjects him to brutal interrogation, accusing him of being against Emilia and smelling of the witch. Ram intervenes, ending Rem's life mercifully. With another reset, Subaru faces the dreadful encounter with Ram and Rem once more. Attempting to confide in Emilia about his return by death ability, a sinister black shadow overwhelms him, preventing him from speaking. 2 days later, Beatrice also detects the witch's scent on Subaru, but agrees to keep him safe on the fourth night. Despite her protection, Subaru wakes up to the devastating sight of Rem's lifeless body, leaving Ram shattered with grief. Suspecting Subaru, Ram lashes out, but Beatrice, bound by their contract, shields him. Seeking refuge, Subaru escapes to a cliff where Beatrice reveals that the mansion's maids are incomplete, one missing. Offering to aid his escape, Beatrice's assistance proves to be crucial. However, Ram arrives, vowing to end Subaru's life. Haunted by guilt and love for the mansion's inhabitants, Subaru succumbs to despair, believing his cowardice led to Rem's tragedy. In a moment of anguish and determination, he declares his resolve to save them all and hurls himself off the cliff, accepting the cruel fate that awaits him. Subaru faces a new reset, prompting him to focus on building trust with the maid twins. Determined to confront the mysterious entity behind the scenes, he resumes his role as a butler in the mansion. During a break, Subaru seeks guidance from Puck to harness magic and combat the enigmatic shaman. Puck assesses Subaru's mana and discovers his attribute to be Shadow. Seeking more knowledge, Subaru turns to Beatrice, who reveals the dreaded legend of the jealous witch, Satella, and Emilia's intentions in the initial timeline. As Subaru trains to harness his magical abilities, he faces immense challenges. Amid his butler duties, he strives to gain the maid's trust. but the pressure takes a toll on his mental and physical well-being. Overcome with emotion, Subaru finds solace as he falls asleep on Emilia's lap, shedding tears. That night, Subaru consults Beatrice about detecting curses and learns that they require physical contact to activate. Armed with this information, he joyfully deduces that the curse originated from the village. The following day, Subaru resumes his work, convincing the twin maids to accompany him to the village, embarking on a new journey to confront the sinister forces at play. Subaru, Ram, and Rem journey to the village in search of the culprit behind the curse. The puppy once again bites Subaru, raising concern. Upon their return, Roswal departs for the night, a deviation from previous timelines. Subaru seeks answers from Beatrice, who confirms his curse is connected to the puppy's bite. Realizing the children's safety is at risk, Subaru and Rem return to the village that night, only to discover the children missing. They enter the perilous forest, finding all the children except one bitten by the puppy. As Rem heals the wounded children, Subaru surprises her with his awareness of the witch stench he carries. Determined to save the last child, Subaru encounters a formidable Mabeast. Despite defeating it, he faces a horde of Mabeasts controlled by the demon puppy. In a desperate bid to protect Rem, she unleashes her inner demon and goes berserk. Faced with overwhelming odds, Subaru stands in harm's way, shielding Rem from imminent danger. Subaru survives the Mabeast attack, thanks to Emilia and Ram's timely intervention. However, Subaru is left with a multitude of interwoven curses from the puppy's bites, with Beatrice unable to remove them all before they take effect. Determined to save Rem and himself, Subaru receives a sword from the villagers and ventures into the forest with Ram. Ram reveals that she lacks a demon horn like Rem and possesses less power. As Subaru attempts to expose the truth about his return by death, Mabeasts close in on them, forcing them to retreat. In the chaos, they fall off a cliff, surrounded by a pack of Mabeasts and a berserk Rem. Drawing on Ram's guidance, Subaru hatches a plan to strike Rem's horn, aiming to bring her back to her senses. In a race against time and with the weight of countless curses upon him, Subaru faces a perilous battle to rescue Rem and find a way to break the curses that threaten his life. The past unfolds as we learn about Ram and Rem's tragic history in a demon village. Born as twins, their existence was deemed taboo. Ram excelled while Rem struggled until a fateful encounter with the witch cult resulted in Ram losing her horn. In the present, Subaru manages to snap Rem out of her berserk state. Together with Ram, they flee from the Mabeasts, but the sinister puppy shaman confronts them. To ensure the twins' safety, Subaru stays behind to face the transformed beast. Despite his efforts, Subaru's broken sword proves ineffective against the shaman. As death looms, Roswal arrives, vanquishing the shaman and the Mabeasts, breaking the curses on Subaru. Back at the mansion, Subaru awakens with Rem by his side. He imparts a heartfelt message, urging her to embrace the future and live without guilt. Rem's feelings for Subaru deepen as she falls in love with him. In a tender moment, Subaru invites Emilia on a date to the village. Subaru and Emilia return from an outing with the Arlam village children. Emilia receives a summons to the capital, and they are escorted by Wilhelm and Felix. At the capital, Subaru encounters the fruit merchant and purchases apples. The sight of Julius kissing Emilia's hand sparks jealousy in Subaru. A red-headed woman named Priscilla is then chased by hoodlums from Subaru's past timelines. He intervenes to save her, but Ram's appearance makes the hoodlums flee. Emilia insists that Subaru does not accompany her to the castle, where the royal election candidates will gather. Nonetheless, Subaru breaks his promise and accompanies Priscilla to the castle as her apple servant. At the castle, to everyone's surprise, Reinhard introduces Felt as the unexpected fifth candidate. The stage is set for a high-stakes royal gathering, with Emilia and the other candidates, Priscilla, Anastasia, and Crush, vying for the throne. Tensions escalate as Felt's background is revealed, sparking conflict between the nobles and the imperial knights. Felt refuses to participate in the royal election, challenging the other candidates and causing further unrest. Subaru's attempt to defend Emilia as her knight leads to unintended insults toward the knights of Lugunica, provoking a duel with Julius. Subaru suffers a crushing defeat, battered and humiliated. Later, Felt's life is in danger when Rom breaks into the throne room to take her away. In a brave decision to protect Rom, Felt agrees to enter the royal election, vowing to bring down the current nation if she wins. Following the events, Subaru's physical injuries and emotional turmoil lead Emilia to urge him to stay in the capital to recover. Emilia questions Subaru's motivations for helping her so passionately, but Subaru is unable to reveal his time loop ability or his past experiences. In a heart-wrenching confrontation, Emilia accuses Subaru of selfish intentions disguised as altruism, feeling unworthy of happiness due to her half-elf heritage. Desperate to convey his struggles, Subaru lashes out, revealing glimpses of his experiences in other timelines, straining their friendship. Their inability to understand each other leads to a painful rupture, with Emilia choosing to sever their connection, shattering the bond they once shared. Subaru and Rem rest at Karsten Mansion to recover from the tumultuous royal candidate selection. Frustrated with his weakness, Subaru trains intensely with Wilhelm van Astria, but progress remains elusive. Reinhard extends an olive branch, urging Subaru to reconcile with Julius, but Subaru stubbornly refuses. In town, Kadamon the vendor shares disheartening news. Emilia's ties to the jealous witch hinder her support for the royal election. Crush encourages Subaru to stay positive, while Felix advises him to mend things with Emilia. Back at Mather's domain, Ram's connection with Rem hints at unfolding events. Subaru and Rem decide to return to Roswall's mansion. In a selfless act, Rem leaves during the night to protect Subaru, prompting him to hire cart driver Otto Suin for their journey. However, their path is halted when Otto's ground dragon refuses to proceed. Subaru pushes on alone and encounters hooded figures who encircle him before vanishing. At dawn, he arrives at the Arlam village, discovering lifeless bodies scattered about. The sight of the mansion leaves him devastated. Rem's lifeless form lies before him. Subaru's world spirals into darkness. The mansion, once a place of solace, becomes a grisly scene of death, with Rom and the children he saved lying lifeless. He stumbles upon an icy room where he meets his end. Resetting to a new timeline, Subaru finds himself back at the vendor's stall, where the trauma overwhelms him. Crush and Felix can mend his physical wounds, but the scars on his mind remain. As Subaru and Rem journey home, the witch cult ambushes them, and Subaru is taken unconscious. Chained up and confronted by Petaljuice Romani Conti, a deranged leader, Subaru faces a menacing ordeal. Meanwhile, Rem, driven to protect Subaru, confronts Petaljuice, but the battle proves futile, leaving her grievously wounded. In her final moments, Rem imparts a heartfelt message to Subaru, urging him to live and expressing her love. Carrying Rem's lifeless body, Subaru makes a harrowing journey back to the mansion, where he is met with more death. A monstrous Puck, driven by wrath, delivers a chilling message to Subaru before ending his life. Resetting once more at the vendor's stall, Subaru's resolve strengthens. Vowing to confront the darkness that threatens his world, Subaru faces a race against time to save the mansion and village from Petaljuice's impending attack. Determined to seek aid from the other royal candidates, Subaru first approaches Crush, but she dismisses his plea, perceiving him as driven by hatred and madness. Turning to Priscilla, Subaru finds himself entangled in a strange request, naively unaware that it was a mere jest. Priscilla's harsh rebuke highlights Subaru's lack of loyalty and devotion to Emilia. Next, Subaru negotiates with Anastasia, but she cleverly manipulated him into revealing information about Crush. As Subaru realizes the other candidates won't assist, he resolves to evacuate the mansion and village with Rem's help. On their journey, they encounter the White Whale, a menacing foe that forced a detour in a previous timeline. Amidst the fog, a mysterious disappearance raises suspicions, leaving Subaru and Otto puzzled. Subaru's battle with the White Whale reaches a harrowing climax. Rem, determined to protect him and Otto, sacrifices herself to intercept the creature, leaving Subaru unconscious. Waking up to Otto's memory loss of Rem, Subaru realizes the White Whale is drawn to him due to his scent as a Maybeast. Otto pushes Subaru off the wagon in a desperate attempt to save him, nearly costing him his life. Eventually, Subaru is rescued and taken to the village, where Emilia heals him. However, when he mentions Rem, both Ram and Emilia have no recollection of her, leaving Subaru in anguish. Furious and desperate, Subaru decides to reveal his return by death ability to Amelia, but before he can, darkness engulfs them, leading to Amelia's untimely death in his arms. Unexpectedly, Beatrice intervenes, sparing Subaru's life and teleporting him and Amelia away from the mansion. As Betelgeuse and his cult close in, Puck, now in his monstrous form, arrives, demanding they leave his daughter alone. Subaru faces the consequences of his actions as the monstrous Puck exacts vengeance on Betelgeuse and his cult for Amelia's death. Puck freezes Subaru to death as punishment, leaving him in despair. Subaru awakens once more at the vendor's stall, with Rem noticing a change in his demeanor. Desperate, Subaru pleads with Rem to run away with him, but she refuses, recognizing the difference in his current self. Consumed by self-blame and regret, Subaru feels his life has been a waste and questions his ability to protect those dear to him. Yet, Rem's unwavering love and belief in him ignite a spark of hope in Subaru's heart. Determined to rise above his past failures, Subaru finds a new resolve. With Rem's support, he decides to become a hero and start anew from scratch. Subaru decides to confront the White Whale before facing the witch's cult. Armed with knowledge from the previous timeline, Subaru proposes an alliance with Crush's camp to battle the White Whale, offering shared mining rights of magic stones in Roswall's domain as an incentive. Crush agrees after seeing evidence on Subaru's cell phone about the impending attack. Anastasia's camp also joins the campaign, recognizing the threat the White Whale poses to their interests. Subaru impresses Crush with his ability to gather support, and Wilhelm reveals that his wife, Theresia, was killed by the White Whale, and he has dedicated his life to defeating it. The next day, Subaru, accompanied by Rem and riding the ground dragon Patrash, leads the combined armies of Crush and Anastasia's camps to the Flugel Tree to await the White Whale's arrival. As night falls, the monstrous creature emerges at the exact moment Subaru predicted, and the intense battle commences. The battle with the White Whale commences with the use of the Night Banisher to create a temporary daytime effect. Subaru and Rem lure the whale towards them, while the armies of Crush and Anastasia attack it. Wilhelm gets up close to slash the whale, hoping to bring it down, but it remains floating in the sky. Suddenly, the White Whale releases a fog from glands on its skin, which Subaru identifies as the Fog of Elimination. This fog erases the existence of anyone caught in its path. The armies start to suffer casualties, and in a desperate move, Subaru draws the whale's attention to himself by calling out his return by death ability, diverting it away from the injured soldiers. Wilhelm and Ricardo's unit follows Subaru, engaging in relentless attacks on the whale. However, they face setbacks as Wilhelm gets swallowed by the creature, and Ricardo sustains serious injuries. As the fog eventually clears, they are shocked to see 3 white whales floating in the sky. The battle with the White Whales continues as the appearance of 3 whales demoralizes the armies. Subaru observes that 2 whales are doppelgangers of the third one, which stays away from the battle. He realizes that defeating the original whale is crucial, and to draw it down, Rem launches Subaru toward it on an ice shard. Subaru taunts the whale and falls to the ground, using the scent of the witch to lure it towards him in the Flugel Tree. Rem catches Subaru, and the armies work together to cut down the tree, trapping the passing whale underneath. Immobilized, the whale becomes vulnerable to Wilhelm's furious attacks, avenging his wife Theresia's death. As a result, the other 2 whales vanish. With the main whale defeated, Subaru refocuses on his mission to save Amelia and the villagers from the witch's cult. Crush and Anastasia's camps provide soldiers to assist Subaru in destroying the cult, including familiar faces like Wilhelm, Felix, and the Pearl-Baton siblings. Meanwhile, the injured and weak, including Rem, head back to safety. Further reinforcements from Anastasia's mercenaries arrive, but Subaru is shocked to discover that Julius is among them. Subaru begins his attack on the witch's cult by approaching Betelgeuse using his witch scent, leading Betelgeuse to mistake him for the Archbishop of Pride. However, Betelgeuse realizes Subaru doesn't possess the gospel, and this causes him to lose his composure. Seizing the opportunity, Mimi and Tivi launch a surprise attack on the hideout, and Wilhelm ultimately kills Betelgeuse. Subaru's band then goes after Betelgeuse's 10 disciples known as Fingers. Unfortunately, one of the fingers still contains Betelgeuse's soul, and uses unseen hands to attack and capture Subaru. Although the finger kills some soldiers, Wilhelm saves Subaru by slaying her. Subaru feels guilty for his mistake that cost the lives of soldiers, but Wilhelm encourages him to keep fighting. Meanwhile, Otto and his merchant guild are evacuating people from the mansion and village. Felix advises Subaru to reconcile with Julius, but as Subaru approaches Julius, he finds himself alone on the road surrounded by a mysterious blue mist. Ram appears on a cliff above, holding a bright blue flower. Subaru finds himself trapped in a blue mist and attacked by illusions, but he is saved by a tiny spirit named La, who was sent by Julius to protect him. Julius breaks the enchantment on the soldiers and merchants, and Subaru is then confronted by Ram, who mistakenly believed he had abandoned Emilia. After clarifying the misunderstanding, Subaru attempts to evacuate the villagers, but they initially distrust him and Emilia. With Ram's intervention, the villagers agree to leave. During the evacuation, Felix discovers a merchant who is part of the witch's cult, and he self-destructs, knocking out Subaru. Upon waking up, Subaru realizes that the village is under attack by the witch's cult, and that the power of the Archbishop of Sloth can be transferred to other fingers hiding among the merchants. Subaru confronts the final finger, but Emilia arrives and defeats him. After the battle, La suddenly abandons Subaru, and he becomes possessed by petal juice. Subaru manages to fight back and pleads with Felix and Julius to kill him. They reluctantly agree, and Julius strikes Subaru down. Subaru experiences another reset, finding himself back at the strategy meeting after the White Whale battle. He devises a new plan to target the cult's fingers before confronting Petal Juice directly, aware of their ability to possess others. Wilhelm visits the mansion to clear up misunderstandings and orders the village evacuation. Disguised in a cloak, Subaru persuades Emilia to follow through with the evacuation, while also exposing a spy among the merchants. Subaru infiltrates Petaljuice's hideout, pretending to join the cult, and reveals the spy's information to initiate a surprise attack. He leads Petaljuice and the remaining fingers on a chase. Mimi and Tyvi arrive to fight the fingers, and Subaru lures Petaljuice to the bottom of a cliff, using knowledge from previous timelines. Julius joins the battle, and with Subaru's assistance in seeing the unseen hands, they attack Petaljuice. Julius fights an intense battle against Petaljuice, using Subaru's eyes to see the unseen hands. Subaru reveals his return by death to confront Petaljuice with the spirit of Satella, breaking the cultist's control over him and ultimately defeating him. Subaru rejoins the group and discovers explosives in the wagon with Emilia and the children. Otto offers to help Subaru reach them in time to save them. Unexpectedly, Petaljuice returns, but Subaru uses Julius's spirit Aya to set him on fire and finally end his threat. Subaru writes the end in the Gospel book, symbolizing the conclusion of their struggle. Reaching Emilia's wagon just in time, Subaru finds and removes the explosives, preventing a disaster. He then places them inside the carcass of the white whale at the flugel tree's base and triggers the detonation. Though injured, Subaru is protected by Patrash and regains consciousness later. When he awakens, Subaru is in Emilia's embrace. He opens up about his feelings and the reasons for wanting to save her, even though Emilia believes she has done nothing for him. Subaru confesses his love for her, and Emilia, moved to tears, thanks him for saving her. With their bond stronger than ever, Subaru's journey comes to a heartwarming conclusion, celebrating his resilience, growth, and love for those around him.